Welcome back to Sell the Damn Service. I'm Emily, and this is episode 4 of my new mini-series, What Your Business is Really Telling You. It's the mini-series where we take the symptoms your business keeps showing you, and we get honest about what they actually mean. So far, we've covered sales calls that aren't closing, proposals that ghost, and leads who love you but can't afford you. And today's episode is a little different because the symptom is subtler. It doesn't feel like a crisis. It might not even feel like a problem at first. But if you've been sitting with a quiet, nagging feeling that something is just a little off in your client relationships, this one is probably for you. So here's the symptom. You keep attracting people who only kind of need what you do. And you know the ones I'm talking about. They're perfectly nice. They're not bad clients. They pay on time. They're polite in their communication. They don't cause drama. But something about the engagement feels slightly misaligned from the start. They're interested in what you offer, but not quite in the version that lights you up. They need help, but it's adjacent to your actual zone of genius. Close enough that you can do it, but not so close that you feel like yourself doing it. And here's the part that makes this symptom hard to name. You can't really complain, or you don't feel like you can, right? The project's closed, the work gets done, you get results, but at some point you start to notice that you're not getting the clients who were made for you, the ones who get referred to you and feel like they were custom ordered, the ones who hire you and think, yeah, this is exactly who I'm here for. Instead, you're getting the close but not quite version. And on the surface, it looks like a lead quality problem. Like you just need to find better prospects, get into different rooms, or do more or different networking. But here's what it's actually telling you. Your niche is so wide that no one feels like you're exactly for them. That's a diagnosis. When your positioning covers too much ground, when you help service providers or creatives or entrepreneurs or small business owners, you become relevant to a lot of people without being undeniable to the right ones. And relevant is not the same as irresistible. The clients who are perfect for you, they don't feel like you're speaking to them specifically, so they don't self-identify as your people. They scroll past your content thinking, that's interesting, instead of that's me. They don't feel the urgency to reach out because they don't feel called out. Meanwhile, the clients who are close but not quite, they find you and think this could work for me. And because your messaging is broad enough to include them, nothing is filtering them out before they book the call. So you end up in this ongoing loop of serving people who are fine when what you actually want is to serve the people who are transformational. So I want to pause here for a second and name something that might be a little uncomfy. A lot of service providers resist narrowing their positioning because they're afraid of leaving money on the table. If I get more specific, I'll turn people away. If I niche down, I'll miss opportunities. If I say this is for this specific type of person, what about all the other people who could also benefit from my work? And I hear that. I get it. I do. But here's what I've watched happen over and over and over again with clients who finally get specific. The opposite is true. Specificity doesn't shrink your pool of ideal clients. It shrinks your pool of wrong fit clients, which frees up the space and, frankly, the energy to attract and serve the right ones at a much higher level. So when you're trying to speak to everyone who might possibly benefit from your work, you end up writing messaging that sounds like it was designed for no one in particular and creating offers and prices and scope. And it's technically accurate. It's not wrong, but it doesn't land, right? It doesn't create that, oh my God, she's in my head moment that makes someone stop scrolling and actually reach out. That moment only happens when you're specific, uncomfortably specific in a way that might feel like you're narrowing yourself, but actually works like a magnet for the people who are a genuine match. So here's a quick way to audit where you're at right now. Think about your last 3 to 5 discovery calls, not the ones that closed, all of them. The ones that closed, the ones that didn't, the ones that were a little weird, the ones that felt off, right? Now ask yourself, did those people clearly have the exact problem I'm best at solving? Not a version of it, not adjacent to it, the actual thing. If the answer is yes across the board, your positioning is doing its job. If the answer is kinda, mostly, sort of, your positioning is too broad. And here's a follow-up question I have for you. What would have to be different about how I show up publicly for my level 10 clients to see themselves in my content and immediately know I'm for them? This is the question we're sitting with. Because the answer to it is the difference between getting clients who are fine and getting clients who feel like the whole reason you built this thing. Now, let's get into what actually creates specificity, because it's not just a pick a niche and stick to it. Specificity lives in 3 places: your who, your what, and your without. So I'm going to break down each one, okay? Your who is not a demographic. It's not service providers or female entrepreneurs or coaches making 6 figures. Those are categories. Your who is a description of a state of being. It's a specific situation, the specific ceiling, the specific experience of being exactly the person you're built to help. The person who just hit month 7 of being fully booked and realizing the math still doesn't work. The consultant who just tried to delegate a deliverable and couldn't because the whole thing lives in her head, right? The strategist who keeps getting booked for work that's slightly beneath what she's capable of, and she can't figure out why. That level of specificity is what makes your level 10 client feel seen, not service providers who want to grow. Every service provider wants to grow. Who specifically? In what situation specifically? Facing what exact ceiling specifically? Your what is the outcome. And this is where most people are still too soft. More revenue and more time and more clarity are not outcomes. They're feelings. The outcome has to be concrete enough that someone can measure it, that someone can look at it and say, I don't have that, or I do have that. 5 to 15 hours of founder time back per week. A service container that doesn't require custom rebuilding every time a new client closes. A close rate that doesn't require you to be in selling mode 24 hours a day. Those are outcomes. They're specific, they're measurable, and they create the right kind of urgency. And your without is maybe the most underutilized piece. The without is what separates you from every other person who promises roughly the same thing. You help service providers grow their revenue without building a massive team, without creating low-ticket offers, without turning into a content machine. That's me, by the way. That without clause is positioning. It tells people what they don't have to do. And for the right person, that is the thing that makes them say yes. And here's what I want you to notice about all 3 of those pieces. None of them are about being more creative with your language. None of them are about a better headline or a catchier bio or a new color palette for your Instagram. They're about getting more honest about who you actually serve, what you actually deliver, and what you actually believe about the right way to get there. Most people write their positioning around who they could help. The right move is to write it around who they're undeniably the best option for. Those are different documents. One is an attempt to capture as many potential buyers as possible. That's not you, bruh. The other is a stake in the ground that says, this is my lane. This is what I'm best at. And if that's you, then there's nobody better. And that's what your level 10 clients are looking for. They don't want someone who could help them. They want the person who is clearly built for exactly their problem. So, if you're consistently attracting people who only kind of need what you do, your business is telling you something really specific. It's not telling you that you need more leads. It's not telling you to get into better rooms or post more or build a bigger audience. It's telling you that the signal you're putting out is blurry enough that it's pulling in a wide range of people instead of a precise one. The fix isn't more volume. The fix is clarity. And I'll say this directly. You can have a beautifully run business, a great track record, a real client history of strong results, and still have positioning that's too wide. Those aren't in conflict. The work you do can be excellent. The way you communicate that work can still be unclear. That's the gap that I'm talking about. And closing that gap is the move. So here's what I want you to do after this episode. Pull up whatever your primary piece of positioning is right now. Your website hero section, your Instagram bio, your LinkedIn headline, whatever is the first thing people read when they land on you. And ask yourself 3 questions. 1, does this tell someone with the exact problem that this is for them? Not could they see themselves in it? Would they see themselves in it? There's a difference. 2, does the outcome I described sound like something they can measure and touch, or does it sound like a feeling? 3, does my without exist anywhere? Have I told them what they won't have to do, sacrifice, or become in order to work with me? If the answer to any of those is a nah or not really, you've got work to do on your positioning. not on your leads, not on your content volume, on the signal you're sending before anyone ever gets on a call with you. If you're sitting with this and realizing that your positioning might be where the leak is, that's the work we do inside Sold Out Services. We build what I call your authority anchor, the foundation of your positioning in the very first pillar of the program. And clients tell me it's the piece that shifts everything, not because it's complicated, because it forces you to get more honest than you've been willing to get on your own. And once your authority anchor is in place, your content gets sharper, your sales conversations get faster, your referrals get more targeted, and the clients who start finding you feel less like a mixed bag and more like a curated list. And if you want to learn more about what that build looks like specifically, head to soldoutservices.com. All the details are there. In the next episode, we're getting into what it means when you're doing great work that's getting great results, and somehow you're still the best kept secret in your industry, because this one trips people up a lot. You think the work speaks for itself, and the hard truth is it doesn't. So I'll see you then. Thank you so much for listening to Sell the Damn Service. If you loved what you heard today, do me a quick favor. Hit subscribe, leave a rating, and drop a review. It seriously helps more service providers find the show, and it keeps me yapping into this mic every week. It's a nice, free, easy lift way for you to support the show. And hey, if you've got a friend who needs to hear this, please send this episode their way. The more people selling their damn services with confidence, the better this whole industry gets. See you next time.